Welcome to my craft room. Happy Sunday, everybody. It is a rainy Sunday here in Pennsylvania. We're expecting a few storms, and the rain came down pretty good. They're calling for flash flooding, so we shall see. Well, today, if you remember, we created on Monday, if you saw my video for on Friday, I'm sorry, Fun Fold Friday, I used the Little Dreamers stamp set, and I am going to use it again today. But we are going to be using Balmy Blue. So these could be for a little boy or little girls who like blue, right? So we're going to start with an 11 by 4 1/4, and it is scored at 5 1/2. And I am actually going to use this as a landscape view. Okay. Hi, Karen. Who's that? Is that Elle? Hi, Elle. And then we're going to, of course, we're going to layer the front up. And I have another layer of Balmy Blue. And this measures 5 by 3 3/4. And then I have 2 pieces of basic white that we're going to layer together. And this is 3 1/4 by 4 1/2 and 3 1/8 by 4 3/8. Okay, so we're going to take this first Balmy Blue. Let me get some glue here. Hopefully it works. You would think by now I would check my glue before my video, right? But no. All right, so we're just going to lay this right down on the front of the card, making sure it's straight. So it's just an added layer. Oh, hi, Liara. Are you watching, Liara? All right. So then for these 2 layers, we're going to use the smaller of the 2, and we are going to stamp the sentiment. And I am going to grab my Balmy Blue, and what did I pull out? I want to just make sure I have the right sentiment here. A Star is Born. I think that's what this is here. I'm just going to clean this off quick. So is everybody busy today? I was busy this morning and then decided to take a little break. I've been so tired. All right, just going to lay it on so the words at least are pretty well straight with the bottom of my block. So then when I stamp it, I hopefully get it on here straight. So I am just going to ink up my stamp, and I am going to stamp the sentiment right up here in the corner. Just like that. Easy peasy, right? You know, my camera looks crooked. That's better. Okay. Then what I did is, here's the little cow. I did stamp him, and I stamped him with smoky slate. And I am just going to quick color him up. I'm going to grab light basic black, dark basic black, and the 2 bubble baths. I am also going to grab, and that's gray granite. Let me just see how dark this is. That should be good. What did I do? I did my coloring class tomorrow, this morning, so let me just see if it's in here. Nope. I'm going to get a nice light, that's dark gray granite. That's light smoky. This is the one I want. Light smoky slate. All right, so before I do anything, I have light smoky slate, and I am just going to put a shadow line under his ear, around his face, under his chin, right over to the side. I know, looks terrible, right? And then I'm going to put a shadow right here at his legs and underneath, and then at his bottom and down his leg. Just quick shadow, and that was light smoky slate. Then I'm going to take the color lifter, and I'm actually going to just go over the edge of what I just colored so that ink will run and spread, and just lighten up that edge a little bit. All right. And then we're going to take some dark basic black, and I am actually going to just outline his back side here, just like that. And then I'm just going to add some lines of color. Then I'm going to come over here to this ear, and I'm going to go under here, under his ear, and then I'm just going to add some color down the side of his face. And this is the dark basic black. And then on this side of his face, I'm going to go down and around his cheek, under his nose, and then I'm just going to flick some color of the dark black out a little bit. Okay. So I'm just, hey, Cindy. Thank you so much. All right. So that is the dark basic black. Thanks, Karen. Now I'm going to go to the light basic black, and I am going to extend that color out. So I'm going over the edge of the dark basic black, and I'm then going to fill in the rest of that area. Okay. Over here, we're going to fill in the rest of this space, and I'm going to go up and around the top of his ear and just extend that color a little bit. And then I'm going to fill in, go around his nose. I'm going to extend that color going over the edge of the basic, dark basic black, and fill that in. Now, as it dries, you will notice it is lighter than the basic black. Okay. Next, I'm going to grab my light bubble bath, and I am going to color in his nose. I'm going to take the dark bubble bath, and I'm just going to add a shadow at the bottom of his nose. Ooh, thunder. And then I'm just going to take a black, oops, I forgot his ear. I'm going to take a black magic marker, fill in the holes of his nose, and I am going to just go over. There was that little closed eye, and because I colored over it, it disappeared. So I just added it back in. And I'm just going to grab my light bubble bath, and I'm just going to fill in those areas of his ears. All right. So there he is. Let's just bring our piece back in. And we are going to just add him. But first, we're going to grab some stars. This set comes with some stars. And I'm actually going to grab a piece of scrap paper. Yes, it is a very cute little set. All right, I am actually going to put some stars in the background, but I want to stamp them off. Oops. And we're just going to add them to the back. I'm going to put some right here to fill in that space. So now we have our little cow. We're going to grab our piece of basic white. We're going to add some seal. And we're going to just layer this right on top. Let's pop up this cute little cow. So is anybody doing anything fun today? We're actually, believe it or not, I mean, gosh. Oh, you know what? Look, I forgot his feet. For shame. So I'm going to use the brush so I don't push down too hard. But I'm going to put dark basic black on the top and the bottom. This line here separates the two hooves. So I am going to leave a little space and again do the top and the bottom. Then I'm going to grab the light basic black and I'm just going to fill it in and then fill it in. Goodness gracious, this poor little guy. There we go. Now he's done. Forgot about those little feet. And then we're just going to take this and we're going to pop it right onto the front of the card. Now at this point, if you wanted to add a ribbon, you could add a ribbon. Make sure it opens the right way. And I am going to layer this right on the front of the card. Got to push it over just a little bit. All right. So let's tie a bow. So it's not too plain, right? All right. So just a quick little bow. And we're going to just, whoops, trim off these ends. Grab a glue dot. It's warm in here today, so my glue dots are melting. And just add that right there onto the front of the card. So just a quick and easy card front. And for the inside, since we already have a sentiment on the front, I'm just going to grab the Balmy Blue again, and let's just put some stars along one edge. Okay. Open our card. Let's add some seal. Add this to the center. And there we go. A simple way. Aw, you're having proud moments. That's so great. Finish up some cards. Well, that's good too. All right. I was working on my Patreon class this morning. I got the card class done. Got half my videos done. So, all right. So let's step this up. Okay. We got quite a few little elements here. So just bear with me. So we're going to start again with the same 11 by 4 1/4 card base. And we're scoring it at 5.5. And I'm also going to use it portrait. We're going to keep everything basic the same. Okay. That's the inside. Okay. So for the front now, let me just make sure I have all my layers. My little basket, I keep everything in a basket. So, believe it or not, I knocked it and it all hit the ground. All right, so we're going to, again, layer it up, excuse me, with some Balmy Blue, 5 3/8 by 4 1/8, and then a 5 1/4 by 4 basic white that I embossed with the Quatrefoil embossing folder. And I get so involved in the morning sometimes that I forgot to make lunch. So I guess we'll be having a late lunch today. My time management skills have been way off lately, I have to say. All right. So now these two layers, I am just going to layer onto the front of my card. All right. Just make sure it's on there straight. So there it is, pretty and embossed. Next, I cut out the frame, and this is 4.5 by 3 1/4 from Scallop Contours. And we're going to pop this up, and I can do it right now. We're going to pop it up right onto the front of the card. So what are you doing, Liara? Are you building with your blocks? Huh? All right, so we're going to lay this on the front of the card. Want to get it on here centered, at least try. Just like that. And then I have a layer of basic white to add to the front of this card. Now, before I do that, I am going to grab the stars again. We're just going to put a few on this corner. All right. And I'm actually going to run it through my embossing. And I'm going to use, I like the time worn type, So I'm just going to lay this on my embossing folder. Whoops. Make sure I get it on here straight. And I'm going to quick run this through. Looks like it's raining again. I finally threw out the plates to my embossing machine and put new ones on. Oh my goodness. Oh, you did. Thanks for letting me know, Karen. All right, so I ran it through with the time-worn type embossing folder. And we're going to just add some glue, and I cut this so it fits on the inside of the stitching. So I just want to get it in there as straight as I can. Okay. And I actually have two little cows. We're going to add him. And I have a Star is Born on my favorite punch, the double oval. So we're going to just add some glue and add it to the scalloped oval. Let's pop this up. And we'll put that right about here. All right. And then we have some clouds and a moon. We're going to let's put him over here. We're going to layer him up. Okay, so let's just glue some clouds down, at least one. We'll put a smaller one over here. I'm going to actually pop the moon up. Yeah, I was working this morning, like I said, getting some of my classes done. And then Bill wasn't feeling good, so he went back to bed. So there's our moon. And let's put our little cow. We'll put him right in the center, and I'm going to pop him up. So right before I came in here to do our video, believe it or not, we're watching another trial. And I'm going to actually I don't want to cover him. Let's add that right about there. Another Border Patrol agent who murdered the 4 prostitutes. Crazy, 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 I'm telling you. All right, I'm going to add this cloud right to the front there. All right. And I'm going to grab oh, it's windy out there. Length of ribbon. Oh, this is perfect. To tie a bow. I think it's going to be crooked. Nope. All right, so we got our bow. And so everything isn't on one side of the card. I'm going to put this bow on the opposite side. Let's put it right about here. All right. We could make these tails a little shorter. All right. So there we did. We stepped it up a little bit. And then for the inside of the card, what I actually did was I die cut the larger frame from Scallop Contours and a piece of basic white to fit in the center. And this frame is the large one that is 5 1/4 by 4. And then I cut my basic white 4 5/8 by 3 3/8. And we're just going to add this to the center here. And then I am going to use the extra little cow. I'm going to add some glue. We'll stick him right here in this corner. I did have, let's see if it's in here. There was one other little star, but it must have fallen. Oh, here it is. So we're just going to add little dots of glue. Oh yes, the wind is really whipping out there. These are die cuts from the set. 2 and 3. All right. Pull in our card. Let's add some glue. And we're just going to add this right to the center of our card. All right. So here is a simple card, just a little stamping and die cutting, right? Still cute with the inside. And then this one here with all our extra die cuts, and then a little bit of a fancy inside. Yes, there is a video. I will post the link. I'll post the link for the tying a bow in the group, okay? I did do a video. So I'll post the link in the group. Then this way you can find it. So I hope you like these cards. I'll have all the dimensions on my blog. Hopefully later. And if you are interested in my Mystery Card Monday, I'll be putting the, now that I'm thinking about it, I have my clue right here. I'll be posting the clues later on in the group, okay? So have a great day. You're welcome, Karen. Thanks, Cindy. I will remember to do that, and I will, you're welcome. I'll talk to you all tomorrow. Bye-bye.